Hello, hello. Hi, Kent. Welcome, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Okay, very good. Hello, hello. Hey, Renee and Sherry out there. Are the donations rolling in? Yeah? Okay, well, welcome you guys, those of you out there in Kent. I'm here in Vegas with the crew. Thanks for showing up tonight. Thank you for bringing all your donations. We have gotten a lot of great things this week. So thank you to all of you who are out there spreading the word about our upcoming auction, asking businesses for donations. We got a couch, like a couch and a chair brand new from like a Costco designer from Kelly Vogel. She's securing that. So that's pretty cool. We got a little vacation, like a week-long vacation in Lake Chelan. At the Adair's place. So thank you, Adair's. We have gotten so many things. Baskets are rolling in, theme baskets. We also have some theme basket ideas out there at Kent. There's some flyers with some theme basket ideas. So those of you who are there, if you just need some ideas to joggle, some creativity, you can grab that. Kristen made that up for you guys. But thank you so much. And thanks for those of you who already brought it to Sherry and Renee tonight. The official deadline for donations is October 3rd. So we still have time. We were just trying to get some of the things tonight so we can kind of see visually and kind of know as we're getting closer if we're low on things and what we need to do. So keep doing what you're doing. There's also Janet is on her way back from the military house right now with a whole pile of posters. So she's going to have posters in her hot little hands for you all that are there to grab. So we're just asking for anybody who can get those posters out in the community, at your work, at businesses that you frequent. If there's a community board in your town, just take some thumbtacks with you or some tape and get those hung up. As much, the more that we can get out in the communities, the better. So thanks for that. And then tickets. I just want to put a little bug out there. Please get your tickets. It is kind of time here that we start honing in on some numbers. So don't wait. Get your tickets, get your tables. Invite all your friends to do the same. Invite your boss to get a whole table for the whole crew. We need people in the seats. October 21st. So Saturday, October 21st, it's our 6th annual fundraising auction. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So we hope you all can come out. So thank you for just all your efforts. October 11th, we're gathering for our basket wrapping party. So a bunch of moms are getting together. If you want to be part of that crew, be sure and reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to have you. You can talk to Sherry or Renee about details for that tonight if you're there at Kent. So thank you. Thank you again. Okay, one more thing is Mom's Group tomorrow. All you moms out there, ladies, you are invited to join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m. We do a coffee date on Zoom. So it's just a 1 hour, 11 a.m. All us moms of Battlefield, we call ourselves the mob. We just hop on Zoom together the night after, and we just talk about the topic from the night before. We get to know each other more. It's just a good opportunity to get to know the ladies in this community. So please join us. We'd love to have you. You can reach out to me for the Zoom link, and hope you can join us. So. All right, so with that, let me turn it over to, and if you're new out there tonight, I do see a couple new families out there tonight, so welcome. We hope we get to meet you a little later tonight, but let me introduce you to Mr. Kyle Munkers. He is a manager here at Rebuild Recovery, but he also brings us our comedy each week. So take it away, Mr. Kyle Munkers, at Kyle's Corny Comedy Corner, that is. So let me put only you on spotlight. There we go. Can we hear you, Kyle?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
You can
Bring us some corny comedy, Kyle.
Oh, you got it. Fun fact about me that not everybody knows, I used to work in the circus. I was a human cannonball. I got fired. Another fun fact. I mean, they say that Genghis Khan has never once said sorry. Well, he didn't speak any English. Yeah. This one's my favorite. Did you know that there's certain trains they don't let gingers on? The Soul Train. Jordan. That's a thing.
Okay, I don't watch cartoons.
Yeah, it's a thing. To the person who stole my place in line, I'm after you now. Yeah. What kind of bee can't make up its mind? Maybe. Oh.
John is not entertained.
You know, last week I donated some blood. I'm not doing that ever again. I mean, they ask way too many questions, you know. Whose blood is it? Where'd it come from? Why is it in a bucket? You know, it's true. Doing this job, sometimes, you know, people have come up to me and said, Kyle, does it ever surprise you how little people change? And, you know, the answer is, you know, I mean, it's the same for everybody. You know, they just have smaller clothes. All right, last one. I always used to wonder if my ex-girlfriend, you know, was satisfied with how my body looked, my body image, you know. But there's a tiny part of me that says no.
Uh-oh. Rip.
All right, thank you, Kyle.
I'm a little weird. What do you say that?
Yeah, we're trying to understand that last one. Okay.
That tiny part of it. He's got some lump in the trunk.
Yeah. Do these guys usually lay down, or what do they do?
No.
Just keep wandering. Yeah.
Gotta give him a beard.
Yeah. What are you saying about Biggie? So me and Brad took Mocha, which is our escape artist, rambunctious mother of all these dogs. We took him up to the Canine Academy, or Academy of Canine Behavior, in Bothell today. And we got there, and Brad was we need to, can you mute that?
Oh, is it going
Yeah.
off? I can hear from you.
Brad was had the leash, and Milka was dragging him into the building or whatever, and this guy had a shirt and then it said Canine Supervisor, so he must have been big stuff up there at the canine behavior place. But he looked at Brad and he goes, "You just gonna let him pull you like that? Let him pull you like that?" We're like, dude, that's why we're here. You know, like, and me and Brad started getting real resentful, and we're like, "Who's this guy?" You know, it's like somebody, parents bring their drug addict. I'm just like, "You're just gonna let him do drugs like that?" You know, it's like, dude, I'm asking for help, man. So that was fun. They got, you know, brought Mocha there. She's an inpatient for 2 weeks. So we'll see. They're saying they can't stop her from running away, but they could make it so she'll come back. So you know, I think it's been boiling down to, like, I guess I went, I would say I went for sure 41 years of my life not questioning love, or not even knowing that I want it, or not knowing how to give it, or any of it. I spent my first 41 years either doing drugs or trying to get stuff. And that was just basically what I was doing. It was either getting high or I was trying to get stuff. And I think the stuff was so that people would love me, but I never really thought of it that way. I just thought I need stuff. And it was more inside. It was more about, I need this stuff because I need to prove how important I am. And without the stuff, how do I walk into a group of people and not feel inferior? And that was just how it was. It was like, man, I'm in this room full of these people and they all got stuff and I don't have stuff. And oh man, I feel terrible. And you go to the dinner party and then or family reunion, and everyone goes, how much stuff do you got? What are you doing? And I was like, I don't got no stuff. And it wasn't even about the drugs. It was about just this lack of stuff. It was this lack of home and this lack of, jobs and this lack of a career and all this stuff that I was very concerned with. And so when I got sober, it just became a thing about getting stuff. And that's just the journey was. It was like, I got to get more stuff than everyone. And so I look better than people because people don't know who I am until I got stuff. And so I went on that journey for about, 2 or 3 years. And it was aggressive. I went on a highly aggressive, driven, motivated thing to get known or whatever it was. And I didn't know that I was doing that because eventually I wanted love and I wanted people to accept me. And I didn't really look at it that way. I kind of just wanted to beat people. I just wanted to be superior. So I went on that. And then lo and behold, they tell you that this drug addiction thing is a spiritual battle, So now you're like wondering, what does a spiritual battle mean? And then now I got this big house and I got these clients and I got to figure out, what is this thing? How do I help them? And so I started on this spiritual journey, I would call it. And that meant for me, it started with like AA, and then it went to church, and I went to church a lot, and I met pastors and I spoke to them. But now looking back, what that was that I wasn't really on a spiritual journey. I was on another journey of stuff. It was, now I'm going to be more spiritual than people. And I'm going to elevate myself and be enlightened, and they're all going to know and look up and go, how enlightened is he? And, man, he doesn't even get angry anymore. And he's so kind and he's so compassionate. And, oh, man, look at him, so it's all just another journey. And I'm more present in you. Therefore, so is Eckhart Tolle. And then it's like, I don't even get on my phone. Look at all these people getting on their phones, like they're not even present. And, look at me, I meditate. And, oh my God, they're not even meditating. I meditated all morning, and that kind of thing was the next competition. And it just kept going. And then, finally I had to look at this thing. And I remember hearing, I didn't know, but I remember hearing, because it never was really true in my life. I can never recall a lack of love. I can never recall being out there and doing drugs and going, man, if just somebody loved me, I wouldn't be in here doing drugs. I couldn't recall it like that. It was like, I'm doing drugs and a lot of people were waiting to love me. I just wouldn't let them. So, I'm getting high. So that was fun. And I was looking for love in the drugs too, because, you'll see this condition that starts to happen when you do drugs is that, you feel free and you feel like it's kind of like love. It's kind of like that, so that's what I was looking for there too. So I look back and look at all these stages and of what I went through and the whole thing, and no one ever telling me, hey, Art, it's just about love. It's about love. It's about you wanting love. But see, that's the thing. They tell us love is it's the answer. Love is the answer for addiction. And that's very true, I think. But nobody tells you that it's work. And nobody tells you that it's on no one else. Nobody tells you that you have to learn to love. Nobody says that. Nobody says that you have to learn to open your heart. You have to learn how to not be resentful and angry. And you have to learn all this stuff. And nobody even talks about it. I never heard anyone talking about love being hard. No one ever says it. No one ever says, they just say, I love you. We got this American love. It's this obligatory, we're together, therefore we got to tell each other we love each other at night. Even if we're not experiencing anything close to love, we still could. We could have yelled at each other today. We could have hit each other. We could have done whatever mean things we said to each other. I could have called her the B word, or I could have done this and all of that. At the end, they go, and then we go, I love you. Well, see, once this thing started happening where I realized what spirituality was really about, what it's about is a clearing. So what it comes about is when I keep repeating myself and saying, there's 3 things that you need to check in with. 1 is your heart open. 1 is your mind free. And 3, are you feeling powerful? So when I feel powerful, that means only thing I say about that is that I don't feel like a victim. So when I feel powerful, I feel like I can come over there. Like I can come help you. I can come love you when I feel powerful, not change you, not anything. Power is I'm not a victim to you. And actually I can produce some influence on the way that you behave. Not that I want to, but because now I don't really need to, but look at it's beneficial. If you take this love of mine and that inspires you to be better, then that's great. So that's the kind of power I'm talking about. I'm not talking about force. I'm talking about this power that other people want to behave differently around you, that other people that feel your love want more of it. So they act better because they want more of that love. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about with power. And what I'm talking about, I'm also talking about, I want to clarify, because over the last couple of weeks, I know I've talked about boundaries a lot, and I know people get very confused. And it is a confusing thing, because they say, Art, you saying don't have boundaries. And I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to parents who have addict kids, you didn't get into this predicament from a lack of boundaries. That's not what happened. You weren't sitting there and all of a sudden your lack of boundaries caused your kid to suffer from addiction. That's not what happened. So how is boundaries going to fix that? How is boundaries going to be something now that you put in place that fixes it if that's not the cause? So this thing about boundaries is, and I'm not telling people, listen, if you get hit by someone, don't get away from them. Just get away from them. Don't create boundaries to have them in the life to tell you that they can't hit you again. Just get away from them. And if somebody abuses you or molests you or hurts you, just get away from them. Your boundaries does not stop molestation. Your boundaries does not stop people from abusing you. Your boundaries do nothing. Abusers don't care about boundaries. That's the whole point of why they're abusers. So when we're talking about boundaries, if you say, well, my boundaries keep me safe from this. No, they don't. Get away from those people. That's all that means, is I get away from those people. Now, when we're talking about boundaries in relationships, what I'm saying is power is having no boundaries. And the reason I say that is because actually, I think if I do something wrong to Angie and she doesn't like it and she thinks she's going to solve that with boundaries, then we're not looking at the behavior that actually happened that made me do that. So rather than have boundaries to defend yourself against the behavior, let's look at why someone's doing the behavior. And that's power. That's power saying, hey, if I want this person in my life still, then I need to help. And in order to help, I can't help if I close myself off and protect myself and defend myself against them. I can't do that. I'm going to have to learn to actually go over there. And I'm going to have to learn to actually feel the pain of their behavior, but actually get in there. So if a man cheats on his wife, you got two choices. Your lack of boundaries didn't cause the man to cheat. It just didn't happen that way. He cheated because of a deeper problem. So if he cheated because of this deeper problem, and then you think the boundaries are going to stop him from doing it again, but the deeper problem still exists, your boundaries are useless and you're going to end up just being a victim. So somebody goes, hey, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to help? Well, power says, I'm going to come over there. We're going to address the issue. And guess what? I'm not too resentful. I'm not too hurt. I'm not too, angry with you that I can't love you through this. I'm going to come over there. And so boundaries stop all that. So what I'm talking about with power, and what I'm talking about with an open heart, and what I'm talking about with a free mind is a condition. It's a condition. It's a clearing. See, I'm not guaranteed that that's going to get you, that's going to be a place that you can give love and receive love. But I will say that those conditions have to be in place for love to exist. And I'm not talking about love as an obligation. And I'm not talking about I love my mom, so I went over and helped her with cancer. And I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about an experience. I'm talking about the conditions that exist when I feel and give love. And in those conditions, there is no righteousness. There's no resentment. There's no closed heart. My heart is open. My mind is free to be present. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about how I resent you. I'm not thinking about, when we have that, when I imagine, and I can't speak on this truly, but I imagine somebody that has a baby, the baby is not giving love. That baby is not giving love. The love is you're giving the love. You're experiencing the love by giving it. You love that thing like an action. That's love. So we're all talking about this thing like, I always thought I was entitled to it. Hey, I'm just going to be who I am, and you just love me. You just should love me. It's so gross. Why are you entitled to love? Who told you that? Who do you love with that kind of abandonment. Who do you like today? Did you have a clearing? Did you have an open heart and a free mind and look at somebody and have a tear come down and understand that that's love, that truth and that presence? See, I'm sitting here and I'm talking and I'm going, here, love me, love me, love me. But in your mind, maybe you can't because you're going, I don't agree with him. So I can't love him. He's not saying the right things that do that. And see, you have to learn to do, I can't do nothing about that. But see, maybe shouldn't even be doing the talk, because if I want love, I got to give love. And so you just put down the talk and you just actually get to a place where you can do it. But I'm saying here, love me, love me. So you see, I always thought that, and everyone's coming in here, and if you're not in this thing, you're coming into recovery, your addiction, your parents, you're all here. This is all about the clearing. It's all about getting both sides to this clearing so that you can love each other again. Getting both sides to this clearing of both sides have a free mind, resentment-free, anger-free, open heart. We're not defending ourselves against each other anymore. We're not talking about the past and bickering and arguing. We're not actually trying to be right anymore. We're just looking at each other from this clearing that exists, this beautiful place. It's like love is this river, and you got to like walk down through all the trees and all the stuff to get down there. And you finally get down there and all the resentments and all the anger and all the righteousness open up and it's all gone. And now you're looking at this clearing and it's like, oh, this is where it exists. This is the only place where it exists. And so maybe some of you are on a journey to get stuff, but I caution you, what you really want is love. And in order to get love, you have to be able to give love. In order to receive it, you have to have an open heart and a clear mind, just like you do. But just imagine, what does it feel like to receive love? See, I don't think you even know. I don't think you could tell if you're receiving love throughout the day or not. I don't think you could even tell. I think you know what it feels like to give love. I think you know what it feels like to love. You know what it feels like to love. You don't really know what it feels like to receive love. You're like, oh yeah, they love me, whatever. But we want it. What we're never talking about, people are always talking about, I want to be loved. No, you don't. You want to love. You want to love. And in order to love, you got to first put down this idea that it's easy. It is not easy. It's easier to hate. It's easier to point out people's wrongness. It's easier to pick people apart. It's easier to argue. It's easier to bicker. It's easier to criticize. It's easier because that's all of us. That's this thing that we're up against to love. See, to love, we're up against the self. And just imagine we have this thing called a self. What do you think the self loves? It loves us. It protects us. The self doesn't love. See, the voice in our head doesn't love. The voice in our head critiques, judges, picks people apart. When we love, when we're doing the action of love, when there's a clearing, there is no voice in our head. And in fact, if there is, the only thing it says is, wow. And that actually, when we're having the experience of giving love, it says, wow, I love this. And that's what it tells us. And that's the only thing that love is that moment, that experience right there. When you look at something and there's so much truth and there's so much presence and there's such a clearing, that's what it is. And guess what happens? A tear comes down. And you can't help it because all those conditions have lined up. So if we go throughout our day and you're checking in, why I'm sitting here begging people, forget this boundary stuff. Forget this, let's address the behavior. Let's look at that in order to address it. Forget this stuff. Just worry about these three things. Don't make a move in your life until you go, is my heart open? Is my mind free? Am I feeling powerful? And if those three things if you don't answer yes to those questions, you need work. You need work. The voice, if you're not mentally free, that means you need to talk to someone. And guess how you got to talk to them? You got to talk to them with an open heart. You can't go talk to them all aggressively and accuse them of things. You have to actually go to people and have a deeper conversation and go, hey, why is this going on? What's going on? And you have to feel calm to do that. And so that's how you get this mental freedom back, as you speak. What is it saying in your head? What is bonding you? Deal with it. Don't do anything else. If you spent your day today and you were mentally bonded and for some reason or another, you didn't feel powerful enough to go speak to the person, or maybe you didn't want to because you were living in a state of righteousness and you'd rather walk around pissed off all day, then stop right there. That's your issue. Because in that state, you're never going to, and now when you're in that state, your heart closes. And you're protecting yourself, and you're protecting yourself by pointing out all the wrongness of everything that's going on. And you're feeling this victimized, which takes your power away. So the whole thing. So I just tell people the same thing over and over. There's no move for me. If I wake up and my heart's closed, I can't operate that day. There's just no operation. There's only opening the heart. If I wake up and I'm resentful and my mind is bonded and I'm thinking about somebody else's behavior, there is no other move today. I can't function on. I have to get to this place where I can experience life through an open heart and a free mind. And I have to get to this place where I feel powerful and a victim to nobody. And I'm not being righteous and pointing it out. And then I get to experience the love of people. I get to this love people. I get to this. But see, if I'm thinking about someone else over here who's wronged me and I'm resentful, I can't love you. I can't do it because my mind is elsewhere. My mind is over here about protecting myself, about why I'm getting screwed over here. So now I come home from work and I got resentments from the people at work and I didn't complete any of those. And then I come home and I try to love my wife. But I'm sitting there thinking about how everyone's screwing me over. And my heart is closed. And then my wife tries to touch me and I'm like, not now. And you ever feel that when your heart's closed and your mind is bonded and someone even tries to love you and you just go, not right now. I don't want to be loved right now. I'm trying to be angry. I'm pissed off. I want to be righteous. And that feels better right now. So this whole thing for me was, first it was spiritual. I'm going to be a spiritual guru. And I studied everything and I read everything. And I remember reading books like, oh, I'm almost done with this one. I'll get to tell everyone I'm done with this one now. I remember meditating, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I'll go tell everyone I meditated for 30 minutes. It was this competition, all of it. And then you get to a point where you start starving, where you get thirsty. And you get enough stuff, you're going to get thirsty, and you're going to get thirsty for what life really is. And and it's not thirsty so people love me. It's so that I can actually look at people and love them. So I can get to a place. And I had to be so honest with myself because I had to say, I don't. All these kids. And I saw all these people in the addiction community and they're like, oh, we just love our clients. And I'm like, how do you do that? They're stealing shit. They're robbing you. They're acting crazy. They say weird shit. You have to watch them all the time. It's always scary. How do you love them? And that was my question. I didn't know how. I got 35 kids in this big house and I'm supposed to love them because that's the answer to addiction? Well, I can't. I'm nastier than that. I hate them. I can't stand them. They're freaking up my poker game. They're like, they're ruining my day, and that's how it was. And I need to get over there and yell at them so they stop. And I always, that was our big joke. Well, they're doing this. Well, have you yelled at them yet? And that was it's like, you haven't even yelled at them yet. Like, if and that's the first move, and that's not it.
Black Kia Sorento with its
Yeah, it's Susie's.
light on.
What is it?
Yeah, I think your car just has the lights on.
What kind of car is it?
A Kia?
It's not mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not mine.
Yeah.
okay.
Let me turn off.
So that's like on both sides, parents, addicts, on both sides. I think addiction is actually this thing that gets put in the middle and it says, oh, you think you love? Try this. You think you know how to love someone? Try this. There's no immunity anymore. You don't just get to say, I love you anymore. You actually got to, to acknowledge how much work it is to love someone in that state, to love someone when you're in that state, or to love someone when they're in that state, and to love someone like really actually experience the clearing and have an open heart, not defend yourself and not close your heart. Look at somebody who's, I'm not telling, when I say love an addict, I'm not telling you to let him steal your shit. I'm not talking about let him live in your house and do drugs. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about there's a behavior with your loved one that needs to be addressed. And when you handle it with an open heart, and you handle it without a resentful mind, can you handle it with power, Or are you going to close down, be angry, resentful, and a victimized and live in that kind of state? And as for the people who are coming into recovery, no one owes you shit. No one could love you through the way you were behaving. I'm sorry. You weren't asking for love when you spent 8 hours tweaking out on your face in the mirror. Guess what? They were trying. You weren't asking for love when you were, stealing shit and doing all the behavior that you were doing and spending hours at the casino. You weren't asking for love then. So don't just come back and think you just expect it. In fact, love should be accountable. The people that love us should actually, we feel that. I want that love. I want that connection. So I'm going to behave better. And that's power. But to get to a place where you can do this, check in. Again, I don't have anywhere else to go until people are talking about my heart closed. I said mean shit to someone. I defended myself. I got angry. I got resentful. I got mentally bonded. Well, how long is that going on? How long did you stay in that state? And just understanding what this is all about. So for me, it all became about me. It became about me being able to not receive love, but give it. And it's under some really tough conditions sometimes. Some really, really tough conditions that make me want to close my heart and defend myself and yell and scream. And I just can't be in that state anymore. And so getting to this place where this is what it's all about. We're all here for connection. Well, then let's really talk about what you're doing to do that. You want love? Let's really talk about the work you're doing. Oh, I want to find love. I'm going to run around on Tinder and then someone's just going to love me. No, they're not. It's not going to work. You're not going to find love on Tinder. You're not going to find love at the bar. You're not going to find love at work when you get her. You're not going to find love in the recovery program. You're only going to find love when you can set the conditions that you can give it. When you can get to a place where you can give it, now you can find it. Now it exists. Because you have to be in those conditions to give it in order to receive it. You can't even receive it if you're not in those conditions. So this is work on all sides of it. And I think that's the work that we should be talking about. Because everybody just takes it for granted. Love, 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 love. Where? In the last week, how many times did you really have that clearing and experience it with another person where you looked at each other and cried? How many times? I would say most of us, it's 0. So to get to this place, we have to acknowledge how hard it is. How hard it is for you to hear what I'm saying and disagree with me and still love me. For you to give love with people that we can't do it. There's hate. The politicians, families, every disagreement leading to hate. Me and my nephew spent hours together down in Vegas. He came to visit me. Okay. My nephews never came to visit me, but he came to visit me. And my nephew is far left as you can go. He's a gay man, and he's way left on the liberal scale, past liberalism on to socialism, on to need a new ecosystem and a new, throw it all out. So we have to talk, and I have to try to, while I'm disagreeing with them, feeling the pain in my body while I'm disagreeing, feeling how I want to go, that's not right. You're so stupid. Why would you think that? And having to feel all that pain and sit there and going, wait, look at him. My nephew's beautiful. This is how he's grown up. This is his journey that's brought him to that place, that he's gotten to this place. That's how he sees the world. And then I can actually open up my heart and I can go, show me the way you see the world. I want to hear. And then he did it. He's practiced. And so now he's listening to me. And we did this thing for like 6 hours where we never fought. And we fought before. And we just did this thing where we did like 6 hours of talking, 3 hours one day and 3 hours the next day. And we just disagreed. I disagree. But it wasn't like I'm giving in to you. And it wasn't like this offensive, let's just agree to disagree. We just disagreed on some things. But I love him. And I could see him, and I could offer that. And that's, I love him, looking at him from he's little till now, and what he's doing with his life and how he thinks. And I don't think I was capable of that for a long time. And I'm still not capable of it all the time. So this massively important set I'm asking of people that I'm saying, if you're here and you're doing this, the program is simple. Is my heart open? Is my mind free? And if the answer to these questions is no, then you lack power and you're being a victim. And you're not going to be able to help anyone. You're not going to be able to come across the aisle and lend a hand. You're not going to be able to love them through anything. You're not going to be able to do that. And I'm not saying ever put yourselves in position. I don't think it takes boundaries to realize that you don't want to get hit in the face. I think if you get hit in the face, you need to just get away from that person. And I think if a man cheats on a woman, you should, if you still love that man, or the woman cheats on a man, well, if you still love each other, then it ain't boundaries, then it's going to fix it. It's not you just pointing and going, don't cross my boundaries again. It's going to be an actual discussion about why the behavior exists and how do we get to the bottom of it and what happened here. And it's actually going to take power to do that. And it's going to take actually not fencing yourself off and saying, just don't do that to me anymore, and now we'll be fine. That's not the way it works. So learning this, if you're here, I think this is what it's been, the accumulative of learning for me is this. I want to give love. In order to give love, I have to be in a clearing. And in order to get to that clearing, it takes a lot of work throughout my day. And the clearing I like when people just go, we're in love. Me and this person are in love. Really? Where is that? Like, where is that you're in love? Like, I just seen you bicker. That's not in love. That's in something else. I just seen you yell at each other. That's not in love. That's in anger. Oh, no, we're in love. What does that even mean? What does that mean? And we just take it for granted that we're just in love. And it's this obligatory, we look good by saying this. And we just go on. But we're not having the experience of loving each other very often. We're really criticizing each other. And you don't argue with your favorite ice cream. When you take that bite of ice cream and you love it, there's no arguing. It's like, this thing is perfect. It's right. Your ice cream's never wrong. If it's wrong, you hate it. See, for me to give love, none of you can be wrong. So I have to make sure that you're right. I have to actually do the work of seeing why you're right. If I'm doing the work of seeing why you're wrong, I can't love you. So I have to sit here and in all my pain, I have to go, let's figure out why they're right. Well, what they're wrong. No, but I'm saying they're not accurate, but they're right. This is the way they're seeing the world right now. This is the way the world is happening for them. They're right where they're at. This is their place. And so that's just right. Because it's not, if it's wrong, what do I do? I have to tell it it's wrong and I can't love it. And I got to wait for it to get right before I can love it. And, so it's all this thing that's happened to me. And I don't think you don't really know what all this is about. And everyone just kind of takes this for granted. But really ask yourself, how many times did you give love? How many times this week did the action of love, the feeling of love, like that love when you picked up a baby and went, oh, I love you. Like that love when you take your favorite ice cream and eat it and go, I love this. How many times did you experience that this week? And I would argue that people don't get that much love. They don't have that experience very often. It's tough. So that acknowledgement that it's tough, this is so hard to love. Because I'm too busy protecting myself. I'm too busy being right. I'm too busy doing all this work to not love. And I got to get stuff. I'm too busy. Come home. I've been very busy today. Well, what have you been doing? I'm on the road to getting more stuff. Well, aren't we loving each other? No, not tonight. I didn't get enough stuff. Well, what happened? Well, I lost some stuff. Well, can you love me? No, I'm going to think about my stuff. And that's it. We go to work. I didn't get to sale today. Somebody wasn't nice to me. I went to my job and somebody didn't tell me how great I was. And now I got to go home and I can't love my wife because I got to think about that. And I'm mentally bonded and I'm pissed off and I haven't completed it. And now I'm feeling like a victim. And now, okay, chalk that night up to nothing. Then we turn on the tube to avoid it. Go, let's just watch a movie. I don't want to think about it. But think, if we stopped ourselves at work, wherever we are and said, listen, I need to get back to the clearing. I got to operate it from the love doesn't catch us off guard. When our heart is closed and our mind is bonded, love does not exist. In fact, you could go have your favorite ice cream in that state and you won't even like it. So it just simply does not catch us off guard. So if you're not actively working to do it, to offer it, to get to that clearing, it ain't going to happen. So you're not just going to find someone in a bar and they're going to go, I love you and I love you. That's not love. That's something else. And that's why people say this. Well, there's a honeymoon period. No, there ain't. You just didn't love each other. You just didn't continue to do the work. You were infatuated with each other. There was a honeymoon period and you felt high from the other person's validation. And then that high went away. And now the rubber meets the road. Do we actually love each other? Or are we just doing dope on each other? Are we just getting high from each other's, oh, this looks good in my life. This is more stuff. Look I could bring this out to the party. And then my friends are going to think I'm cooler than them. That's what that is. But then you got to make her perfect because she might say something stupid, or the wife bringing the husband. You're going to wear that? You're like, what? I love you, honey, but take that shit off. We got to worry about what mom's going to think, I always used to have these girls that I used to wonder, like, oh, I'm going to bring them home, man. God, I hope they don't bother me and say annoying shit in family reunion. You know what I mean? And then my friends, I'm like, and then you're bringing her out with your friends and you're like, oh, man, hope they don't out me. I hope they don't say a bunch of shit about me that, and you call your friends ahead of time. Guys, come on, take it easy on me tonight. Not a bunch of, she doesn't know about none of that shit. And that's not love. This is this concern. Like, oh man, this could not go well. And then always the couples that start bickering whenever they go out. Oh man, you make me look stupid. No, you're making me look stupid. And then at the end of the night, love you. I used to say I love you just so I could get some sleep. You know what I mean? Honey, I love you. Stop. Shut up. It was, I love you. Okay. Oh man. I thought that's what it was. This obligatory kind of love. This kind of institution of love. This thing that says, we have combined and want the world to know that we love each other. Everybody else is out. It's me and them. And look at us. And we tell each other we love each other. And then we fight. And then we tell each other, and then we fight. We criticize each other. And then we say, I love you at the end.
Sex.
Yeah, maybe some sex in there. There you go. Yeah. Oh, wait, I do love you. So that's what's been on my mind. And this is why people say, well, aren't you getting repetitive? I think there's no reason for me not to be repetitive because there's really there's no other path. And I would tell you guys, even if you're on the road to getting stuff, stop and take a break and practice. And look at your resentments, like look at your resentments like you don't know yourself. Look at your anger like you don't know yourself. Because when you start looking at these things and you look at your resentments and you look at your complaints, when you start looking into these things, you'll either fix something or you'll see you're being whiny and you'll see that it needs to go away. And those are going to cause, once you get rid of all the resentments and deal with them, there's a clearing that exists. And your mind can be free to be present. Your mind can be free to be present with people and look at them and actually get to a place. And I always say, love exists when all these conditions are met, there's a clearing, and then truth and presence and calmness all meet. It's just this thing what happens. And the calm part of me meets the calm part of something else. And it's truthful. It has to be truthful. There's no persona, there's no show, there's just purity. And we know it when we see it, we know it when we experience it. And I just think that people need to be talking about that more than protection and complaints and all that kind of stuff, because we're starving for it. And instead of love, we're using validation. Instead of love, we're so starving for love that we're using validation instead. We're posting our food on Facebook and saying, look at me, love me. We're posting our cars on Facebook and saying, please look at me, love me. I got a new house. Look at me, love me. I got a new job. Look at me, love me. And no one's doing it. No one's looking at your post and going, oh yeah, they got the new house. I love them. Not happening. So it says, I did a thing. That's the most famous Facebook post when someone's about to tell you what cool shit they think they did. I did a thing. And then they post their new car, or they post their new. It's like, dude, you mean you bought a car? It's not that unique. You know? Oh, all these conditions that you need to strive for. You want to get off drugs? You want to stay involved? Do the work. Do the work. Don't isolate. Don't go down the roads that you've went down. Just think, we've gotten to a place in America where as families, truly, we don't know how to love each other. Our own families. We just don't. We have lost our way. And I don't say anybody has in history. I'm just saying it's very, very difficult now. All the conditions and all the lack of calmness and all the resentments that you could pick up just going to the bank or the store. Turn on the TV if you're not resentful. You know, you turn on Fox News or MSNBC and try to not be resentful after that. You know, try to get your paycheck and look at it, not be resentful this day and age. You know? So that's it for me for tonight, other than conversation. But
Let's open it up.
getting to a place where I couldn't talk about this kind of stuff. You know, I was weak. You know, as a man, you're like, I can't talk about love, and you know, I can't. Yeah. Oh, what are you, some kind of pussy? Yeah. Like, and especially we can't get together as men and go, hey, do you love your wife? You know, it's like we're looking at you. Did you love your wife last night? Shut up. I just said I love her. Come on.
You should love your wife, man. I really love your wife.
Not. You back on that Andrew thing again, Logan? Dude. Story my wife always says, Logan's my favorite.
Hi, Logan. I was glad to see Logan walk in tonight. It's been a while.
You'll see more of me, Angie.
Good.
Not here.
Logan!
You'll be seeing.
All right, yeah, let's open it up.
Yeah, I don't even think. Go ahead, Ann.
Okay, let me tell them the drill. So there's a couple new people out there. We'd sure love to meet anybody we haven't met yet. We open this time up for comments, questions. You can use the raise your hand feature on your device. Let me show you an example. There we go. I'm raising my hand. And if you can't figure that out on your device, you can unmute yourself. You can say hello in the chat. And as long as your camera's on, I can put you on spotlight and we can see you and have a conversation. So we just welcome anything you've got. And so please don't be shy and let's continue this conversation.
How do you break the preconceived notion, I guess, that men can't express that amongst men, right? Because, like, you know, I have a girlfriend in Arizona and she and I have very deep conversations, very detailed conversations, and our husbands, you know, they have a slightly different relationship where like, and then my husband is more apt to join us and talk with the girls sometimes and be able to kind of like have the deep emotional conversations
Yeah.
versus, you know, versus kind of the like work and, you know, chuck on the shoulder kind of thing.
Well, again, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of guys in this room right now.
Yeah.
And even as I'm speaking, because I know, because I've been there, and even as I'm speaking, they're going stuff. Yeah, Art, what are you gonna tell me? I get stuff, and you know, and this could be something in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It could be something where a man doesn't feel enough safety to get to a point where he can love until he's got all these social needs met and who I am in the world. So I got to be somebody in the world first, you know. And I think a lot of guys need to go do that. I think that maybe, but you shouldn't get in a relationship then. You should go figure out who you are in the world first so you're capable of love. But you're not going to be capable of love until, and even talking about it or discussing it until you feel a sense of comfort with who you are amongst other men and, you know, and who you are in the world. So, you know, it's probably falling on deaf ears for a lot of what I'm talking about. And I don't think I just got to a place where I did have to get enough stuff before I went, oh, what's next? You know, what's next? And I think that a lot of people just take this as a grain of salt and go, but they'll be starving soon. They'll be thirsty soon. And, you know, I think as men, we're just, it's just probably never going to happen that we're going to sit around as men and talking about how we love our wives. But I think that you could get to the place where you can love your wife. And I think that's more important than talking about it with your buddies. Like I can love Angie wholeheartedly and experience that with her, you know, a couple times a day or whatever I experience it because I believe that she's perfect and I can love that perfection. And I can do that, but I'm still going to go play golf with my friends and talk about, you know, farts or whatever. Talking about money or sports or whatever. I don't think we're not going to evolve as men and get to a place where like, are you experiencing love at home? You know, I mean, be like, so yeah, but you can, you know, secretively, guys, you could secretively start hiding it, but actively start working to be able to love a woman. And in order to love a woman, you're going to have to get to a place where you have an open heart, where you're not mentally bonded, where you're feeling powerful, and you're going to have to get to a place where you feel free. And, because you're going to have to be big, because to love a woman, she might tell you everything that's wrong with you. And then you still got to sit there, you know, to love a woman, you got to be able to take a little criticism and then don't give it back. We're always working on me, you know, and that's okay. You know, she's like that museum piece under glass, you know, I'm the building with the scaffold. That's what Bill Burr says, you know. Always working on me. I can always get a little better. But she's perfect. And that's just true. Yeah.
Would you say if like you're speaking with people who we have history together, right? With family or whatever, or we think we're further along in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just meeting people, like just the people in this room, if I want to develop a deep relationship with them, I might not say it's love, you know. How do you start there when it's a stranger and there's no skin in the game? Like how does that work?
Well, first of all, you know, with people that we're already established with, first, I'll address that first. Because even if I wanted to love my nephew or if I want to love my sisters, I still have to have a clearing to do so. So that means that if there is a something on my mind that needs to be talked about, if there is a resentment, all that stuff has got to be cleared up first. So right now, families would have to You want to love each other as a family, you'd have to get in a room and do battle and tell, and talk and have to say, we're in this room, we're going to be in a circle and no one's leaving until we get complete. And what we're here to do is see each other's point of view. And you would have to do that first before you could even get to a place where we could go back and begin to get a clearing with our families. So that's what's blocking our families from loving. Meeting new people, we're still have this thing that is a self. And so we're still concerned with what they're up to, what's going on. Are they going to say anything I don't like? What kind of person is this? And you're going to have to walk along the way. And then guess what's going to happen? They're going to say something you don't like. And then one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to have the stones to go, hey, I want to talk about what you just said. Or, and I call that integrity. So either you're going to have the integrity in this new relationship to address every one issue as they come up and take them case by case. And if I ever have a resentment, I bring it right to you. And if you're either going to do that, or they're going to do something you don't like, and you're going to go talk behind their back. And you're going to go, I was hanging out with this person, and did you hear what they said? And they said this, and they said this, and I just disagreed. I don't like anything about what they're saying. And you're going to do one of two things. And what I'm saying power is being able to take that pain of what you don't like and actually talk about it with them and try to see how they're perfect and not see how they're wrong. So what we're doing in a new relationship is we're all doing it. We're trying to see how they're wrong. That's just what we're doing. And the reason we're doing it is because we're trying to protect ourselves from this person. So our first things is this thing in our head is like trying to figure out why this person's is wrong. And we'll get it quick right there. Oh, there it is. I was thinking I was going to like this person. No, they're a piece of shit. I've heard it. They're a liberal, or they're this, or they're that. And so that's the thing that's going on is there's two people trying to get close, but immediately when we see something that hits our pain that we don't like, we have learned that a nice person doesn't say anything in that instance. A nice person, a good person just now says, hey, I don't want to tell them. I don't want to say anything to them. I'm just going to be nice. And well, you're not going to have a deeper relationship. So it's over. That moment that you decide you're going to be nice and not say something, don't ever expect a deeper connection. Just stop right there. It's not going to happen, because the deeper connections come through those conversations that when we disagree with something or we don't like it, we sit and try to understand and go forward. And most people don't do that. We meet people and we put on a little persona and they say something we don't like, and then we go talk shit, and people do it to me. People do it everywhere. So we're not after that connection, first of all. Because if you're after the connection, then you're going to stay and keep trying to connect. But if you're trying to be superior and you're trying to be right, then you're just going to figure out why they're wrong, and then you're better than them, and the relationship's over, and you've got it figured out.
Would you say it's worth the effort to go with the open mind and an open heart, regardless? Like, even if I don't agree with somebody, just trying to be, I guess, the way you would be with somebody that you already love, or.
But you got to acknowledge when that person has said or done something that closes your heart, and then that'll happen. And that what you have to do then is you have to open your heart back up and try to understand that person. But we're not doing that as people. When our heart's closed by somebody, we are done with them. Whether we still hang around them or not is yet to be seen. We still might show up at the party and go, hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? And we talk. But really, we already told our friends that he's a piece of shit. And that's just how nasty this thing is in protection. It's just this self that's nasty, and it just does it. And then we put on a persona about how we should be as a good person. But what I'm saying is absolute radical honesty, absolute truth, for the sake of the relationship, for the sake of your mind, for the sake of everything. Your soul depends upon saying something. If you're with me and I bother you, your soul depends on telling me I bother you. Your soul, not mine. I'm not even going to know. And you can be bothered and go talk about me, and you can do whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. It's not going to affect my day. You're the one that's bonded. You're the one that's resentful. So this relationship work is to walk forward and go, that bothered me. I need to have power, and I need to tell the truth, and I need to see what's going on. And I either need to take responsibility for my insecurities, or something in you needs to change, and you can't treat me that way. one of two is true. Either the person needs to change and they can't treat you that way anymore, and you tell them, and you want to keep going with the relationship, or you need to open your heart and see it differently and understand that.
All without anger, right?
Oh, well, it might come. If you're angry, you're angry. Will you tell them you're angry? Will you go forward? Will you keep putting it together? Or are you going to get angry and go talk shit behind the back? Are you going to go vent to your husband? You're going to go vent to someone else. There's this whole thing that we're not addressing. As human beings, we can't be in relationships because we always need to vent about the other person. That's going on everywhere. Coworkers, family, everywhere. And this is saying this thing that I need to vent on, and I feel like I need to go tell the other person. And the reason I feel like I need to go tell somebody else, but the reason I can't is because my soul depends upon it, and I have to tell this person, otherwise I can't actually fix the relationship. But if I really like being right, then I'm going to look for somebody's wrongness, and when I find it, I'm going to go tell everybody how wrong they are. And that is going on. People come here. They go, hey, Art, I want your help. No, you don't. You want to figure out why I'm wrong. You didn't even know that about yourself, but you did that. You might be coming here. People come to Solution Group. I'm going to go listen. People are on there right now trying to figure out why I'm wrong. In their head, just, this guy's wrong. He's wrong here again. Oh, God, he's wrong. Why are you here? And that's the same thing with relationships. Why don't you try to figure out why I'm right? You might get helped. I'm not going to go to a financial planning meeting and sit there in a financial seminar and go, oh, geez, like they all have more money than me. And then I just figure out why they're wrong and I go tell my friend, these dipshits, but that's what we do. That's what we do. People go to AA meetings, not to learn. They go to figure out who's wrong. And then after the meeting, they go out and they get in their car and they go, do you see what that dipshit said? Do you see what that dipshit said? And then every rare time somebody goes, oh, did you hear what he said? That was really good. Because the one time you might have found some love. You actually might have found some person, you might have been calm enough and they might have said something that made you cry. And then you experienced a little love because you had an open heart and you had a free mind for a second and somebody spoke and it was truth and presence and you went, that's like a golf shot, keeps you coming back to the course. One good golf shot, just a little truth, a little presence. I can drink a little on that, But yeah, first of all, we don't even start out with relationships and go, I want a deeper connection. We don't even acknowledge that with people. We don't go in and meet someone going, oh man, I want a deeper connection with this person. We come in and we go, we size them up. Let's see what they're about. I heard they're pretty cool, but we'll see. We'll see. They'll say something that bothers me. See, they said it.
They said it.
Married couples meeting another married couple out for dinner. Hi, kiss, sit down, have dinner, talk. Afterwards, both of them get in the car. They're crazy. Yeah, everyone, that's what we do. This is what we do. We get together and talk about the bad people over there. No, that's what we do. This is why we're having to defeat a system that's in place that's so difficult. And that's the whole acknowledgement that I didn't go out to dinner to try to love that couple. I didn't even try. I went out to prove them wrong. I went out just to see what they're doing that's stupid. And that's what we're doing with our, I'm going to talk, here comes Uncle Mike. He's going to be a piece of shit again. And, you're not coming to figure out how to love Uncle Mike. You want Uncle Mike to show up and do some stupid shit again so you can be right. I'm doing. This relationship game is tough, man. It's tough. And I used to be in a real privileged position too. People would come to me and my head was like, oh man, I know how wrong these people are. And I was like, I got a job. People come to me and I get to tell them how wrong they are. This is awesome, dude. And they're going to pay me. But I don't think like that anymore. I don't think they're wrong. I think they're right. I think people come to me are right where they're at, and I can see it, and I can place them, and I can love them, and I can go, but I used to sit in there and go, pretty soon when they're done talking, I'm going to tell them how smart I am. When they're done talking, I'm going to go ahead and smash them and tell them everything they're doing is so messed up and they shouldn't be doing that. And they need to stop enabling, and they need to. It's like, why is enabling right? It's really right. It's really this thing that's spawned from love, that it's a natural instinct that someone just wants to take care of their loved one and they want them to be safe. And then the drug addict preys upon that and they know it. And it's this beautiful thing that most mothers do. And it's, why is the husband that's all angry? Why is that so right? Well, that's right too, because the dad is superior and he's dominated by it. And he's like, forget this kid, be done. And then mom's love comes in and says, no, we got to save him. You know, and it's so beautiful. It's not wrong. It's just this beautiful thing that's going on. And I used to listen to that and go, oh, I can't wait for them to stop talking because I get to show them how stupid they are. But now I just love families to come because they're so perfect. And that's not because they've changed. That's because I've changed. I'm not interested in being right about a family. I'm interested in a deeper connection. I'm interested in the honor of getting to know more folks and actually having more people in the community and actually being able to have the honor of seeing somebody's life improve right in front of our eyes, and to see how the community helps that person and see how everyone gets to come here and get some relief. And it's beautiful. And that causes me to feel love. You see, something I wasn't capable of. All right. But just
right. Well, Josh. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, Josh, I don't know if you can read Josh's chat. He has a good one. He's on the bus, so he can't talk. But his comment was, I love what you had to say tonight. Makes me think of Ian and I. In the beginning, I felt moments of love, but in the end, I never felt love from him. And when he tried, it felt fake, but yet I still crave his validation and attention, and yet I didn't feel safe. I'm still learning to love myself and give love to others. I feel like I will always crave validation and attention. I want to love beyond myself. I am nowhere near being able to have a successful relationship, but I love the idea of being able to show off that I got the man. Haha.
You know, that's a good point that he brought up. He said that he's learning to love himself. And I hear this terminology go around and around and around. And I will tell you something that I didn't ever understand it. And when people told me that I needed to love myself, I hated that. I didn't even like what they were saying. I didn't think that was a thing. And, you know, I didn't even think hating myself was a thing. And none of that was a thing. I was like, what do you mean? How do I do that? But what I can tell you is when you have an open heart and your mind is free and you feel power and not a victim, you do love yourself. That's the state where you are loving yourself. That's the state. Now, when you're resentful, you're hating yourself. When your heart is closed, you're hating that experience. You're hating having a heart closed. You're hating having a mind like that. So it's not the self that we're loving. It's to say I love myself to means I love the experience of being me, being in here all the time. And when I don't love the experience of being in here, then I don't love myself. And so I have to learn about how to be in this experience through pain and a closed heart. And I know when I have a closed heart and I have a bonded mind about someone else, I know that I'm not loving myself. I know that I'm not in the state to give love. And so because of that, that's my first move. I'm not currently loving this experience, so I need to stop. See, most people are in love with the experience so much so of being right that they like being in that experience. They like to be righteous and they like to think about other people's faults and they like to do dishes while they do that. And they like to work under those conditions and they like to angrily go and be right and be resentful. And you think you're loving yourself, you're not. Loving yourself is when you stop and you go, I can't be operating under these conditions. I want to open my heart back up. I want to talk to this person. I don't want to be right. All of those things. And that will get you to a place. And Loving yourself just as a place where you can get where you can go. Okay, now I can offer. I can come to that clearing. Ah,
Okay, well, we have about 13 minutes left. So who else out there?
yeah. Let's get someone online.
Online.
Questions, comments, new people, we'd love, if you're willing to introduce yourself, we'd love to say hi. See where you're from.
Hey guys, hey Art.
Hey,
Yes, yes. Hey.
Checking with you were telling us about Mocha going into rehab there
yeah.
2 weeks. So you get her back. You know, dogs they kind of have unconditional love for you, right? Most of the time.
Well, that one runs away. So I don't know.
But
Yeah.
you spend a bunch of money in rehab for treatment for a couple of weeks, and then you get out the dog out. What happens when the dog relapses? How many times do you do that? That's kind of metaphor for our son, basically.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blame the rehab center. That's for sure. I demand my money back. That's what you guys should be doing too. No, it ain't like that. And the question just always is going to remain the same, Dave. And I tell people all the time, if you think this addiction thing showed up for Brady, I would argue differently. And once families can get on board, but this thing showed up for you, and it showed up to have you deal with, how many folks have lived their work life mentally bonded and resentful? How many folks have lived their families mentally bonded and resentful? And now the same thing showing up with your kid. You're resentful and mentally bonded, and to get to a place where you can check in with yourself and go, is my heart open right now? Not just with my kid, but in all my relationships. And so most of the time when we have a kid that's in active addiction and doing what Brady's doing, it's not actually the work of learning to love them or learning to have an open heart and give them love. Sometimes it's the work of with each other. I always say helping people in addiction, families helping people in addiction is not a vertical thing. It's a horizontal thing first. It's like, let me learn not to hate my husband right now first. Let me learn not to hate their brothers and sisters. Let me learn to like love each other first. And then this is going to give me some more skills, and my knife's going to be a little sharper for what I need it for down here. And so, most families we see are torn apart from this thing. And I always say it's not that, addiction doesn't tear families apart. What tears families apart is what to do about the addiction. So everyone argues about what to do, and that tears the family apart. It's not the addiction, it's the argument. What is it?
Anyway, Debbie and I, we haven't had any contact with Brady for over a month now, so it's a lot easier on Debbie. She doesn't have to worry so much about him. He's not present in her mind, even though we love him, and we hear he's doing okay, but you don't know. We don't think he really is. So anyway.
Yeah, I get it. I know. I'm hopeful that they can fix Mocha. I really am. I mean, that's what we're counting on here. Somebody give a biscuit and
Give him a bag.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can kind of relate. We just got a little puppy here a few months ago, and it's just tearing up the house, eating the rug, the furniture, chewing on everything. And I told Debbie not to get a little puppy, but she didn't listen to me. And of course, now the price. We already had two.
We can relate.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's the problem. These dogs don't even speak English. Because see, I'm a communicator, and I'd like to sit down with the dog and communicate. But I don't know how to do all this sign language and bullshit that they want me to do with the dog.
Well, I swear Debbie thinks that when she's yelling at the dog that he understands, but he.
Yeah. I found what I also like to do is when I tell Mocha to stay and she doesn't, I seem to think if I get louder, she'll do it. But no matter how loud I get, she still just runs away. Mocha, Mocha. She just, Mocha, don't attack that dog. Oh. You know,
All right. A little
He's
levity
awesome.
there.
Mocha's awesome.
Thank you, Debbie and Dave. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for your donation. That's very, very nice of you for your place on Lake Chelan. Thank you so much. Love that you guys always show up. And Debbie, I don't know, I think maybe you work on Wednesdays, but if you're ever available to join the moms group on Wednesday mornings, we'd love to have you. I'd love to introduce you to the other moms.
I work on Wednesdays, so that's why I haven't been showing up. Otherwise, I'd love to attend the meeting.
Yeah.
But Wednesdays, I just can't do it on Wednesday.
Yeah. Darn.
A lot of you people really have a job getting in the way of our group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. We need the family whole thing. Everyone check in. 90 days. Whole family.
So let me put a reminder out there too before we close up. We've got about 7 minutes left, but let me do a reminder for anybody who popped on late. Janet's back with the posters. And so for all of you guys that are at Kent, for all you guys at the Military House, Milton House, everybody in the room, I'm speaking to all of you. If you have a place at your work that you can hang a poster, put some postcard size, a stack of them, or a business that you frequent, a coffee shop that you go to every morning, anywhere that you know there's a community board, we just need, look, Sherry's holding them up. But we just need all of your help in getting these posters out to the community. If you're there at home and you have places that you can hang posters, we can mail you some as well. So if you shoot me a text with your address and tell me how many you would like, we will get you some in the mail as well. So we just need all hands on deck. We need everybody's help in getting the word out. We need cheeks in the seats for October 21st. So we need to sell tickets. So we need people there that night for this dinner and auction. And then we also need items for the silent and the live auction. So we need all of it. So we have, and also in the back is the procurement forms, which a procurement form is basically a donation form. It's when someone gives an item. So if you procure something like a gift certificate from a local business, you fill that procurement form out and you tell us the value and who gave it to you. And then you give that business a copy for their donation receipt. And then you keep the copy for us to go along with our cataloging and all that stuff. And the sooner the better you can get items to us, great, because we need to spend time, organizing it, getting the bid number, getting all the information typed up and prepared for this big event coming up. So thank you for all the help, everybody. And if you have any questions, if anything's not clear, please reach out to me. Shoot me a text, and if you need any supplies like those postcards and things mailed to you, let me know. Thank you.
I'll just do my closing arguments.
Oh, Tracy, great. Shoot me a reminder. I'll send you shoot me a message, a text, and I'll shoot you the mom's group link. Absolutely. Okay, close it up, Art.
I think, it's hard. I can't encourage enough. I do these things and I just go, I didn't know I was on this path. It was one by one, these building blocks, these things that I did that luckily conspired to get me to a place where I could even have an open heart enough to not hate and to not feel this anger towards people and to actually experience love with people. And, I think that if all I see the kids in the program and I just go, just stop. Just give yourself a break. Like, you're not going to be able to love a woman yet. You're not going to be able to love, and acknowledge that and go, I can't do it yet. And along this way, yes, I'm going to get stuff. Yes, I'm going to do this stuff, but just stop and take a break. Get off the phone for a second. See what this practice is about. Actually do it. Check in with yourself and say, hey, do I need to talk to somebody seriously today? Am I resentful of somebody, and do I need to talk to somebody? Is my mind bonded with somebody else? Is there something on my mind I need to deal with? Secondly, I need to see if my heart is open or closed. And if it's not, I got to open it up. I can't feel like a victim and powerless. And and I can't be complaining and I got to get all this. We can't be in love and complain. And you're going to do it. Just don't just look at anything that you do in your life. What do you do in your life that you don't complain about? Is there anything? Do you complain about where you live? Do you complain about your parents? Do you complain about your job? Do you complain about your coworkers? Do you complain about the government? Do you complain about, and if all that's true, which it probably is, you're going to complain about your partner too. That's what you're going to do. And the reason that you do that complaining and the reason that your heart is closed is because you feel insecure. And you just don't feel good about yourself. So when we acknowledge that and we can say, God dang, I got a lot of work to do to be able to give and receive love. And that is the goal of this lifetime, in my opinion, is that we're having to learn. Nobody's bringing their stuff with them. No one's going to ever acknowledge that you're great because you got more stuff than they do. But they will acknowledge the way that they felt when they were around you. They will acknowledge the way if they felt love from you. They will acknowledge the way that you gave and received love, that you were present with people. And so, we're going to stop this meeting and you're going to go hit the vape and you're going to go smoke and you're going to talk shit. But I just ask for one break and just say, practice being present. Practice seeing what's making you not present. See when you're in a fight with your woman or your coworkers and see your heart close and go, it's my responsibility to open this up and understand what's going on here. I don't need to be a little victim. So work in this program means these three things: checking in with yourself, saying, in what conditions am I operating my life under? Am I operating my life under resentment? Am I operating my life under a closed heart? Am I operating my life over powerlessness and complaining? And just stop for a second and just go, okay, I'm going to take a break and do recovery. And in order to do recovery, it means be over here, taking responsibility for it, feeling my energy, going, okay, this is what I'm going to work on now. I need to talk to this person. I need to talk to my roommate. I need to talk to my coworker. I need to talk to someone and get it clear. I need to talk to my mom. I need to talk to someone because my mind won't stop thinking about it. Okay. That'll open your heart back up. That'll make you not feel like a victim. You'll feel power. And now you'll have the optimal conditions to live your life from. So I hope everyone gets, and I just beg people to go, stop all the nonsense. I see you. You want to look at TikTok because you want love. You want to look at these things because you want this experience. We're trying to love things through rom-com videos and like movies. You know that we're, as human beings, we're experiencing more love watching America's Got Talent than we are with each other. We turn on America's Got Talent, we see somebody singing beautifully and the tears roll down our face. That's love. That's what it is. We see the rom-com video or the movie and we see two people experiencing love and then we cry. But we're not getting it ourselves. We're trying to imitate it. We're trying to get it somewhere else. The reason we're not getting it is because of all these conditions that we're trying to operate under that we need to work on clearing up. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you work on that. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Good night. Good night. See you moms in the morning. Good night.